Ravens are preparing for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco versus Lamar Jackson. Wow. This could be something. Now, as much as I love Flacco, shout out to Flack. Appreciate Flack. But I hope the Ravens they whoop them Jets, and I really hope the Ravens whoop everybody on their schedule. But it's like for me personally, I just feel like, especially with Flacco, I feel like it's just gonna be one of them games, man. I feel like it's gonna be one of them one of those stressful games, man. It's funny because I saw a comment on Twitter. Somebody was like, because Flacco was talking about if he may had to go up against the Ravens. He's like, oh yeah, it's not just any game. Obviously, we know that. And somebody was like, oh man, Flacco over there cheesing. He must miss the Ravens. I was thinking, oh yeah. Um, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun, man. It should be a lot of fun. Now, first and foremost, obviously, hope Zach Wilson ends up being okay. Excuse me, and we hope it ain't no long-term damage, anything like that. And hope that it's a clean recovery process and the surgery goes good and everything like that. But if Flacco is going to be the guy, hey, Garrett Wilson, one of Jets' first round picks, he said that Flacco he throws a more catchable ball than Zach Wilson. Said Flacco knows when to put some zip on it, knows when to take it off. But yeah, the Ravens gonna be preparing against him. And Flacco, like I always say this, the most dangerous teams to play are teams that have nothing to lose. The Jets, while of course it's the beginning of the season, it's going to be week 1. Everybody, hey, Super Bowl hopes, Super Bowl hopes. Realistically, we know the Jets, they don't have Super Bowl hopes. Of course, they can say everything, they can say all the right stuff, and with changing new culture, but they don't have Super Bowl hopes. I mean, anything is possible till it ain't possible no more. But my point in saying that is that they will be 0-0, just like the Ravens will be 0-0. And Joe Flacco knows that he is not the future for the Jets. And what I mean when I say that, he's not going to be that franchise quarterback. But Joe Flacco has nothing to lose. Joe Flacco been in the game for 14 years. He came in 2008. Check out Flack. Oh yeah, him and Harbaugh. So Harbaugh been coaching for 14 years. But Flacco, he been in the league for 14 years. And he knows like he's coming to the end of his road. It could be whenever now. So he knows he's not the future. So he could be out there. He gonna be out there taking the chances, throwing that ball deep. He gonna be trying it, man. He ain't got nothing to lose. He ain't got nothing to lose. Zach Wilson is the Jets' future. Flacco's not. He ain't got nothing to lose. This team, they have low expectations. They ain't got nothing to lose. But that's why they could be so dangerous. They can be very dangerous. And with it being the first game, I mean, I hope the Ravens they get on the road early, but they may not be clicking all the way. I think they'll be fine though. I wouldn't even really overthink that or anything like that. But it's Flacco time. It's Flacco time.
Okay, here we go. Officially in September, we can start talking about football is happening this month. If you're a college football fan, you've probably already started watching some college football games, but I know for you, watching this channel, you're excited about September 11th. Now, you just watched the video, right? Again, shout out to Ing Raven Vids for allowing me to use his content. I went and scrolled through a lot of the comments, of course, on this video, seeing the interaction and some of the back and forth between the concerns of playing Joe Flacco, not worried about Joe Flacco. There's a bunch of support and love for Joe Flacco in that fan base. So it was kind of refreshing to see those guys, even though like they're big fans of Joe Flacco. I mean, of course they want to win. They want to win, but they're very real as well. Very cerebral and logical fan base as well. It wasn't if anybody's expecting us to get like wiped out or anything. But anyway, check out his channel. I'm a big fan and support of individuals out there who are creating great content for their fan base, especially when they can go ahead and speak about it intelligently, cerebrally. And I think this is one of those guys. Like you need to follow him. If you're into football in general, like I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, so I'm going to be watching a lot of Baltimore Ravens games, especially out there in Week 1 when we're facing them at MetLife Stadium. So give him a follow. I mean, again, great content. Cerebral conversations can be had. Gotta love those kind of fan bases where they're logical, understand the game, process it, and they have a love for the game in general. So great stuff. But with that said, as a Jets fan, how should you feel about Week 1? Right? And that's the whole point of this video. right? I know right now there's conversations and there's hope and there's talk that potentially Zach Wilson can make it back for week one. I, on the other hand, am a fan of us being cautiously optimistic. If he's not 100% ready, I don't want him on the field. I would rather us, err on the side of caution than forcing him out there too soon. So for those of you that are concerned, like, oh man, what are you doing? Like, we can get a real hot start if we bring in Zach Wilson, and we could potentially win that game. Nothing says Joe Flacco can't do that for you. And this is your New York Jets sit rep debrief on why Joe Flacco can bring us to a 1-0 start in about 2 weeks. Let's go. All right. So you're probably still concerned about what to expect week one from Joe Flacco. Now, on the one side, we've got the individual pundits who want, to see Joe Flacco get out there. They know what he's capable of. They're a fan of his game. They understand that this was a Super Bowl MVP. The guy has talent. He has the veteran experience. He has the knowledge. There's a whole bunch of us that believe Joe Flacco is probably an elite second option when it comes to backup quarterbacks. When we're talking about quarterback tiers, he's potentially an elite option. I would say top 5, top 10 option at worst, right? Then there's the other fan base that thinks that Joe Flacco is old. He's slow. This offense isn't built for a Joe Flacco. It's built for Zach Wilson. And they're hoping that even if Zach Wilson is only at 90%, he shows up September 11th on opening day and plays the game. But as you saw in the previous video, even Ravens fans are more concerned about playing Joe Flacco than they are about playing Zach Wilson. Now, there's something to go ahead and say that Zach Wilson is not the guy. I do believe he's our franchise quarterback. There's no way fans are bust about that. But I do believe that to start off a season and to make sure that Zach is 100% ready to go when he steps on the field, we're in great hands with Joe Flacco. And here's why. So shout out to Defense Wins Championships for this article that he wrote about Joe Flacco and his history and why we should feel good about, this entire aspect. The guy has a lot of detail, a lot of stats that support his argument, and it's hard to argue with him. So, boom, you can see here, Joe Flacco is, yes, 37 years old, 6'6", 245 pounds. He's older in terms of being 37 years of age. A lot of people would say like, oh, well, he's old, blah, blah, blah. But you're not saying that about Tom Brady. You're not saying that about freaking Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not putting Joe Flacco in the same breath as those guys who are starting quarterbacks in the NFL. What I'm simply saying is that at 37 years old, he really isn't as old as we were all putting him out to be in terms of this position, right? The quarterback position. It's a cerebral position that can go ahead and people can continue to grow in it. And Joe Flacco had a strong arm coming into the NFL. Yes, his arm is not as strong as it used to be, but he can still make NFL throws. So some career stats for you for Joe Flacco, right? 178 games played. So he's got tons of veteran experience. He has started 176 of those 178 games. 6,108 passing attempts. A career winning percentage of 55%. 3,771 passing completions, which means he's a 61% completion percentage. 41,269 passing yards. 227 touchdowns to just 144 interceptions. He has a 1.57 TD to interception ratio. He has 18 fourth quarter comebacks, 24 game winning drives, and an 84.2 career QB passer rating. Now, okay, are we talking about Joe Flacco in his prime? And a lot of people are going to go ahead and argue that this doesn't really hold relevant now. This was when he was in his prime, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, cool. So Joe Flacco, in 2020, played for the New York Jets. Now, I want you to think about that 2020 roster before you start saying anything. A lot of us keep forgetting that the New York Jets did not have the plethora of talent that they currently have just a year ago, right? Let alone 2 years ago. With that said, Joe Flacco in 5 games, he started 4 games for us in 2020. And again, let's not forget this was the Adam Gase era as well. So this was an Adam Gase-led offense. Keep it all into perspective. Joe Flacco, 5 games, 4 starts. He went 74 of 134, 55% completion percentage. Not great, but he threw for 864 passing yards, 6 TDs to 3 interceptions, so a 2-to-1 ratio, 7 sacks, and he had a QB passer rating of 80.6. 80.6 QB passer rating in that Adam Gase offense that lacked talent all around him. In 2021, his first and only 2 opportunities to show off what he can do. One game played versus Buffalo. He went 3 for 3, 100%, 47 passing yards, 1 TD, 0 interception, and the QB passer rating of 158.3. I get it. Very, very small sample size. But this is still against the Buffalo Bills in 2021. Okay? As limited as it is, it kind of gives you a taste of what this guy can do, like in live game reps, live game situations, not just against a practice squad. One start versus Miami, 24 for 39, so a 61% completion percentage, 291 passing yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. He took 2 sacks, a QB passer rating of a 101.5. And that's a Miami Dolphins defense led by Brian Flores. So a pretty impressive defense as well. He did that against. Now, in that particular game, Elijah Moore was his primary target. Let's be honest. He was pretty much the only healthy talent we had on the roster. And it was also Elijah Moore's only 100-yard game the entire season, just last year. So you take into consideration last year as well. Let's go 20 to 2021 under both Gase and, of course, LaFleur. He has 7 games with 5 starts. 101, I'm sorry, 176 passing attempts, completed 101, like a 57%, 58% completion percentage. 9 TDs to 3 interceptions. 9 TDs to 3 interceptions. And a passer rating of an 88.3. Now, yes, he went 0-5. And we've got the optimistic Jets fans who are going to look at it and say, it wasn't his fault. The pessimistic Jets fans are going to say, hey, it was his fault. He was the quarterback. I'm going to say that it's a combination of both, but I'm going to lean towards the side of you can't blame Joe Flacco for not having a supporting cast around him. That's hard for any quarterback to go into that situation in that scenario and play better than he did. Now, let's fast forward. We're in 2022. We're about to start the season, September 11th. Joe Flacco is a starting quarterback for the New York Jets while Zach Wilson is recovering. Now, Zach's on the sideline taking notes. He's watching this game. He's going to learn from those reps mentally because when he did that last year, he came back after his injury and he was a different quarterback. So I am not opposed to Zach Wilson kind of taking a seat and watching because we've seen the impact it can have on his development. Joe Flacco gets to face off literally game 1 against a team he knows very well. He understands the defensive scheme. He understands some of those defensive players. Like he knows their tendencies. The guy is a veteran quarterback that's seen a lot, and he's practiced against these guys. The fan base is telling you they're concerned about playing Joe Flacco because you never know what you're going to get from Joe Flacco. Is he going to go off? Is he going to go ahead? No. At this point, he has nothing to lose. Joe Flacco is not the future of the New York Jets. He knows it. The Ravens know it. The Ravens fan base knows it. We should know it as well, which means Joe Flacco has every ability and opportunity to go ahead and shock the world because no one's expecting much from him, which terrifies the Ravens. And now the Ravens, getting them game 1, have historically shown a tendency to go ahead and start off slow. A huge benefit, again, to the Jets. But let's take a look at some more numbers for you. So Joe Flacco will be going up against the 32nd ranked pass defense, dead last, as of last year. The 30th in pass touchdowns allowed. The 24th in defensive sacks. The 27th in QB passer rating against. They've allowed a 99.4. I feel like those are some a good situation to be going into. And I get it. Some of you guys are going to sit there and say, well, the Ravens suffered from injury last year and they struggled along. And you'd be right. You'd be right. And there is a new regime there, right? Those guys coming back healthy. Nonetheless, we're talking about getting the Ravens week 1. Week 1. they haven't had a chance to kind of get their momentum going. And they've got a couple of new pieces that they got to gel with as well. And with their historical tendencies to, of course, start off slow, with those guys coming off injuries last year, not having some game reps last year as well, they got some rust to knock off. What better position could we ask for Joe Flacco to walk into in order to go ahead and shine, right? Now, are the Jets going to win this game? Are they going to lose this game? I don't know. I don't know. I can give you my opinion. I can give you my opinion. I think that Joe Flacco is more than capable of going into this game and setting a tone for the New York Jets. Not only that, but showing what this offense can do with the playmakers around him while Zach Wilson is taking notes, can only be impactful in the fact that Zach Wilson can learn to trust what he sees with his eyes, understanding that his playmakers are going to be there to make plays for him. I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited to see Joe Flacco out there, not only playing in this game, but making it a learning opportunity for Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson is 99.9% ready to go September 11th, I don't want him to play. And that's hard for me to say because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I would love to see Zach Wilson live. I have not seen Zach Wilson live ever. I will. It's just a matter of when. But I do not want him out there if he's not ready to go. You shouldn't want him out there if he's not ready to go. And if he's not, that is okay. That is 100% okay because we have a weapon named Joe Flacco, a weapon that even Ravens fans are telling you concerns them. Now, I'm not saying they think they're gonna win, they're gonna lose the game, but they're not also bragging about they're going to shut us out or dominate the game either. Like there's legitimate concern knowing what Joe Flacco can do and seeing what Joe Flacco can do without weapons. I think it's it behooves us to kind of look at it in the sense of what can he do with weapons. Joe Flacco is 37 years old. He is still within the quarterback like realm in his prime, so to speak. You know, he's got maybe 2, 3 more years left in him if he wants to. He's a big body quarterback. He's always had a big arm. Yes, his arm strength is starting to go ahead and go down a little bit, but he still has an above, I would say, an average to slightly above average arm strength. He can make every NFL throw, and we don't need him freaking throwing bombs down the field. You know what I'm saying to Garrett Wilson or to Elijah Moore. He can beat these guys with some short to intermediate routes. We got a rookie safety back there in Kyle Hamilton. Didn't have a real good preseason, so that's something that I, as a quarterback, I'd be looking at to kind of take advantage of. Right? We don't know if Kyle Hamilton can play at this level. We have no idea. We know he was a very high prospect. I know a lot of us wanted him as well in this past draft, but we have no idea if he can actually play at this level. And to see some of the things he's dealt with thus far in training camp would lead some of us to believe that maybe he could struggle. Maybe he could struggle, especially first game of the season. I think right now the Jets have a better chance of winning that game than they have a better chance of losing it. If you had to give me odds on it, I would say it's a 60-40 split to just win this game opening day, based off of the historical track record of the Baltimore Ravens starting off slow. Their defense literally was dead last in terms of passing statistic last year. They have to get back in the groove of things. Those guys were injured. They weren't out there. They didn't get the game reps. They got to get back into the groove of things. They also added some new pieces. There's so much gelling that needs to be done in this defensive scheme. And Joe Flacco knows the defense. He's practiced against it for years, years. And he's bringing probably, arguably, the best the best group of talent against that defense that he's faced in the past. Hyperbole, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. At the end of the day, man, I think that we should be excited as Jets fans to potentially kick off like week one with a win. A lot of people have already kind of like said, not going to happen. They're going to freaking, we're going to lose. Whatever. It is what it is. People are going to say what they're going to say. But in all actuality, there is no reason to not believe the Jets can start off this season 1-0. The Ravens right now, our biggest weakness, everybody's going to keep saying is, oh man, well, we can't stop the run. We can't stop the run. J.K. Dobbins might not even play week one. He's questionable. Lamar Jackson's been very distracted as of late right now with his contract negotiation. So we don't know where he's at in his state of mind right now, right? Like those are all little aspects that can go ahead and contribute to a unprepared or a lax Ravens playing against the New York Jets. Now, don't get it twisted. In terms of like overall talent, like the team is a better team. than the Jets are. They are. I mean, they're well coached. You know what I'm saying? These guys have playoff experience. Lamar Jackson is an MVP. One of the youngest players to get to the amount of wins he's gotten to. Like it's a pretty impressive like unit. It is. I think the biggest weaknesses are what in the wide receiver area. Wide receivers don't really scare me. Their running game with everybody healthy, yeah, kind of worrisome, but not going to be the case for week one potentially. So I'm not saying the Ravens aren't better than us in terms of like the team itself. They have more proven talent than we have. More proven talent. We can still go in there and get a W. I believe that wholeheartedly, and you should too. So my prediction for week one is a New York Jets win at MetLife Stadium against the Baltimore Ravens. But I think our defensive line gets after Lamar Jackson. It's going to surprise the world as to how much improved the run defense has gotten with the additions of guys like Whitehead, Quan Alexander, CJ Mosley being able to go ahead and do his job as a linebacker, vice doing everybody else's job because he now has talent surrounding him. Everybody keeps sleeping on CJ Mosley, man, but the guy had 160 plus tackles last year. I think 104 of them were solo tackles. He was all over the field making plays, right? And the general couldn't be the leader of the defense because he had to go do other people's jobs. Now he has enough talent around him to where he can actually do his job, right, and lead that defense. I think that's going to be a huge impact on stopping the run as well. Oh, let's not forget, he also has played against the Baltimore Ravens. He understands their defensive schemes and concepts as well. Let's not forget that as well. We got a couple of aces in the hole here that give us an advantage going up against the Ravens week one. So Jets win week one, opening day, September 11th. Get the W, one possession victory. I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict a 28-21 victory, New York Jets. 28-21, New York Jets take the W. And Zach Wilson comes out freaking on all cylinders the following week, having learned a lot from watching Joe Flacco operate this offense with those talented weapons around him against what will be a pretty good defense as those guys start to gel together. So yeah, week one prediction officially in the books. You guys heard it here. 28-21, New York Jets take the W. Opening day. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Look, with that said, before I get out of here, I want to go ahead and officially introduce my live stream. That's going to be going live September 13th. So the first Tuesday after our Sunday game. So yeah, September 13th at 8 p.m. Central. It's going to be called Taco Tuesday with Gunny. All right. So, I mean, maybe it sounds corny. I don't know. I'm excited about it. So ultimately what's going to happen is, like the intro for the video is going to be either me making some tacos and then giving y'all the recipe if y'all want it, or me trying and reviewing some tacos from one of the best taco spots, obviously out here in Houston, or taco spots recommended to me by fellow Jets fans who are watching this, or just anybody I get some insight from. I'll do a quick review of that particular taco, what it tastes like, what I think about it, and then we will go into the live stream, talk Jets, you know what I'm saying, and have a good time. Y'all been asking for me to go ahead and get on the live stream. Boom, finally got it figured out. So Taco Tuesday with Gunny, 8 p.m. Central, starting September 13th. Let's go. Excited to go ahead and interact with you guys and chop it up. This has been your New York Jets situation report debrief on why Joe Flacco is going to lead us to a victory week one and why you should be excited about it. Okay. All right. Till next time. Baltimore Ravens game, especially week one versus the Ravens when I'm going to be out there in MetLife. Especially week one where I'm going to be out there at One Jets Drive to go ahead and see